Time, as we know it, is a fundamental part of our daily lives. We measure it, schedule around it, and rely on it to bring order to our routines. But what if I told you that, in certain places on Earth, the concept of time seems to blur, and in some cases, almost disappears? To understand why this happens, we need to explore the relationship between time and the planet's geography, particularly in places near the poles and deep underground. Let's begin with the Arctic and Antarctic regions, the North and South Poles. These remote locations experience phenomena that challenge our standard perception of time. Unlike most places on Earth, which have regular cycles of day and night, the poles endure months of continuous daylight or darkness due to the tilt of the Earth's axis. During summer, the sun doesn't set for weeks or even months, resulting in what's known as the midnight sun. In winter, the opposite occurs. The sun doesn't rise for an equally long period, plunging the region into polar night. In these conditions, traditional methods of keeping time become nearly meaningless. If the sun never sets, how do you define a day? In fact, explorers and scientists stationed at the poles often abandon local time and instead use coordinated universal time, or the time zone of their home country, to maintain a sense of order. The passage of time feels surreal. Hours, days, and even weeks can blur together, making it difficult to distinguish one from the next. The human body, which relies on cues from sunlight to regulate sleep and activity, becomes confused, leading to a phenomenon called circadian disruption. For those living or working in these extreme environments, time becomes something they must consciously impose rather than something dictated by nature. But the poles are not the only places where time seems to vanish. Deep underground, in caves and mines far removed from sunlight, researchers have conducted experiments to study how humans perceive time in the absence of natural light. In these studies, volunteers live in complete isolation, without clocks, watches, or any other way to track time. The results are remarkable. Participants lose track of days and hours, often developing their own internal rhythms that bear little resemblance to the 24-hour cycle. Some sleep for 30 hours straight, while others stay awake for extended periods, proving that without external cues, our sense of time can drift dramatically. Similarly, there are places on Earth where time zones become confusing or even arbitrary. The South Pole, for example, sits at the convergence of all longitude lines, meaning every time zone theoretically meets there. Stations at the South Pole must choose a time zone for practical reasons, but it's entirely an artificial decision. In international waters or on long flights that cross multiple time zones, travelers can experience timelessness, as the usual markers of time lose their relevance. Then, there are places associated with mystery and legend. Ancient temples, remote islands, or certain natural landmarks where time is said to stand still. These stories often reflect cultural beliefs or psychological experiences rather than actual physical phenomena. Yet they speak to a deeper truth. In some environments, the boundaries between past, present, and future feel less distinct. Ultimately, the idea that some places on Earth do not have time is a fascinating blend of scientific reality and human perception. Whether it's the endless daylight of polar summers, the perpetual darkness deep underground, or the arbitrary nature of time zones, these locations remind us that time is not always absolute. It can be shaped by geography, environment, and even our own minds. By exploring these places, we gain a better understanding of both the planet we live on and the mysterious, elastic nature of time itself.